This is Streatley Crematorium. I am, in effect, the front of house man, so that when a funeral arrives outside, the hearse arrives with the bereaved family in the car behind, and I have to check the nameplate on the coffin. So it's my job to make sure the family are received in a proper way, and proper respect is shown for the death that's happened. I'm used to talking to people in the way which they want to be talked to, if you like. In the one sense, you wouldn't expect me to walk out there and say, "Hi folks, welcome to the crematorium." You know, however funny I might think that would be, it's not the right thing.
I'm Dave Sims. I'm the Church of England Vicar of Beechdale. Very difficult to say where we're involved with the dead, because we quite often see folks in their last stages of life, through their death, and then through to the burial or cremation, and then on through to following up the bereaved families. The closest person's funeral I think I ever dealt with was my son-in-law's funeral. The way I had to deal with that was to deal with it as just another funeral, and try and divorce myself completely from the fact that he was my son-in-law until afterwards.
I'm the senior bereavement service technician. I've been doing it nearly 30 years. I deal with it on a day-to-day as normal, really. I get job satisfaction. I enjoy my work.
It is not the easiest job in the world, and I would like, if you have no emotion, you probably find it easy, but I have emotion. I find it difficult.
Quite often you'll find that the funeral that you expect to be very, very difficult will be very, I won't say simple, but it will be relatively easy to do. I used to dread taking the funerals of little children, but I found now that 9 times out of 10 I get very uplifted by them. A family who have lost a very young child will quite often be very upbeat. They will be very together. The difficulty is, of course, there isn't a lot you can say about them, because that's one of the things. I mean, there's this philosophy of what is a funeral and what's it for. A funeral, to my mind, is to celebrate a life that's moved on to a different place. And with a very small child, there isn't a lot of life to celebrate, and yet there is an enormous amount of life. I mean, one of the youngest children I've ever taken was about 9 months old, and I have to say he was born to die. He had so much wrong with him that the doctors gave him about 3 or 4 days. He lasted nearly a year, and the family were so upbeat about that and so thrilled that they'd had him for that length of time that it made it so much more easy. I find teenagers the worst, because they have a life and they're just beginning to understand what life is all about, and those I find the most difficult ones to deal with.
I spend my entire day surrounded by sorrow. Now, I have sat playing the music in this chapel where we are, which holds about 45 people, and at least 30 of them were sobbing. Now, you've got to be pretty stone cold not to be affected by that, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't affected. Now, also, I'm 63, and I see a lot of people come through here who are a lot younger than me or my age, and it does bring it home to you that you have to live life to the full, because this is not a rehearsal.
People do have hip joints, knee joints, you know, all different kind of joints. That's one of them. That's another one of them. Then you got loads different. All the ashes going into there from the cremulator. It's a normal job, but we do have a sense of humour. We do have a laugh, we do have a joke, we do but at the same time, also we have respect.
As far as where I'm going after my death is concerned, I have no doubt whatsoever that I shall be in that place we call heaven. As for my own funeral, I have told the family what music I want, and the family do know what sort of a coffin I want, and it's going to raise a few eyebrows, I've no doubt, because I don't want an elaborate coffin. My wish is to be cremated in a simple rectangular pine box. Very simple, very easy to use. Because that's what I am. I'm an ordinary person.
I'm a Catholic, but a lapsed Catholic, and I don't think it's changed me in any sense whatsoever. I still believe there is something up there, but who knows? I'll tell you if I get there.
There is the occasional one that will hit you as a vicar, and you cannot predict which one it is. There are times when I stand up here taking a funeral service and I wonder how on ever I'm going to get through it. But somehow that's when, if you like, the professionalism comes in. You have to take a deep breath and think, well, everybody out there is relying on you. And so you do it, and then you fall apart afterwards when you get home.